Just a few slides for you today. Appreciate having us out here. I always like to start by asking, who is Merkle? Everybody has a slightly different perception on who Merkle is. If you've worked with us for 25 or 30 years, you probably think we're a data company, merge, purge, direct mail. We still do that, send about 500 million pieces of direct mail a year. We do a lot more though. Enterprise technology, loyalty, media. So everybody has a different perception, but again, we add value where our clients need us to. If I could describe Merkle, it's kind of two different parts. It's our enterprise technology piece where we manage about 150 databases for clients worldwide, as well as our performance media agency where we manage a couple $1 billion in revenue. We're based here in the States, but we are global, EMEA, APAC. If you're looking for media, search, SEO, pretty much anything in there, just let us know and be happy to talk. I will give you a quick plug for the SEO folks in the room. Check out technicalseo.com. It's a great free resource with tools. I'm happy to send our digital marketing report, our Amazon playbook, anything else that could be useful for you. Today, though, I wanted to dive into the intersection point of marketing technology, reporting, and how you guys actually activate your media. So when I go into a client meeting, generally our clients are trying to solve a few key problems. One, how are my marketing dollars working together? What combination of channels leads to success? How can I get reporting faster in attribution? All these I think have come up in some degree or another over the last day and a half. I think there are a few core causes to these being pain points for the brands that I work with. IT delays, nobody has an unlimited IT team with the possible exception of some of the big, Google and Facebooks out there. Lack of common data, data is a currency. Lack of bandwidth, and just having a lot of manual tasks that eat up a ton of marketer times. When we think about how to overcome this, I think we'll all agree that we need a strategy. What's funny, though, is I pulled this football formation off Google Images, and then when I was going through the deck, I realized this is actually an illegal formation. There's only 6 people in the line and 5 in the backfield. So I think that speaks to the GDPR and CCPA and all the other parameters we still have to play within, when we're building our strategy. So when we go into a client, typically I'll throw something like this up on the screen, and I think everybody would agree this looks daunting. We've been up in that left-hand corner most of the day talking about search and display, addressable TV, but there's so many things that have to empower us just to get to that activation point. I think it starts with data. I mentioned we've been doing first-party data for 30 years. We also have a third-party data source tool with data on all 275 million adults in the U.S. And typically clients like to start throwing logos up here. Oh, I use Adobe for this. I use Salesforce for this, Google for that. And typically it gets very convoluted. And I think, again, we can all agree this is very daunting. And you're not going to get this whole tech stack built out in the next year, maybe not even 2 years. Typically our clients are working on a 3 to 5 year roadmap with a fairly large investment to get there. But I want to bring this a little bit more real to you today. So rather than focusing on the whole thing or I figured we'd maybe just dive into the GMP a little bit. I think this could apply to Adobe. Adobe has a well-built-out marketing stack. There's the Oracles, the Salesforce, the Pegas. When you think of the cloud, there's Google, which I'm talking about, but AWS as well. Again, Merkle and our clients work on all of these. I'd like to think we're pretty agnostic there and focus on solving our clients' business problems. But let's think about the GMP. This is a graph some people might recognize. We present with Google occasionally, and this is something we've kind of built up with them in terms of being able to move from media focused. And it'd be amazing how many clients are still just looking at campaigns in silos and not tying them together. To moving up the focus there to where Merkle, again, having done first party data for 30 years, fully believes in that multi-moment. Let's personalize. Let's personalize the communications going out through email that are coming in through media that are on the site. Let's make sure that's all tied together. But of course, you need a full stack to do that. So again, this is Google, but there's could equally apply to Adobe or others as well. So on the left, some folks are still using the old free version of GA. I think most of our clients on Google have moved to 360. We would argue there's benefit as you continue to pipe more of that data together. So piping, SA360, DV360, optimize all together, but then adding your first-party data and then adding a layer of cloud computing, from, again, AWS, Google Cloud, whoever it might be, into it to really make your marketers smarter. So I thought I'd share a quick video. This is from our Australia team, actually. Sorry to the Volvo folks in the room. It's actually a Mini Cooper that's going to be featured. Let's just see how this looks in practice.
Sees that consumers are spending less time in the research phase between the moment they decide to buy a car and the moment they drive away in their new car. It's almost like catching lightning.
Mini is a very progressive brand, and they came to us to help them understand how online user behaviour influences their dealership vehicle sales.
We have so much data of people when they're researching it online with our website. What has been the difficulty is recognising these purchases so we can better understand our customers and personalise the experience before they come into the dealership.
Google Marketing Platform met Mini's goals with enterprise analytics, activation and reporting capabilities, allowing us to truly understand consumer and align to Mini's objectives. We saw an opportunity to identify which customers had bought cars, anonymously tying their online behaviour to the vehicle that was purchased.
Mini send their customers a series of emails after purchasing a vehicle. By implementing some parameters to links in these emails and some advanced configurations, we could identify what online behaviours led to someone purchasing a vehicle. The biggest insight that we identified was that of those journeys, only 18% actually submitted a lead before purchasing a vehicle, which has traditionally been the typical optimisation metric for most automotive brands.
So Mini can now clearly track online to offline conversions for the first time. We can now see the online journeys of over 60% of Mini's customers prior to making their purchase decision.
To give Mini customers a tailored experience with the brand, we rebuilt all of Mini's creative assets into a dynamic feed-based solution. We mapped the location of all Mini dealerships in Australia back to our dynamic creative strategy, allowing us to control messaging and provide a highly relevant location-based message. We saw a 22% increase in click-through rate overnight.
We can now activate these audiences across search and programmatic channels to provide the most relevant consumer experience based on where they are in their purchase cycle. Utilising the Google Marketing Platform and Google Cloud platforms means that we are now able to predict with a 90% accuracy users with a high propensity to buy a car. Our work with Mini is a market-first solution. Mini's new data-led approach connects the dots between online behaviours and offline purchases. It's a real step change in our industry, bringing performance marketing to the next level.
All right, so what did the Merkle team and specifically our Columbus division over there in Australia, do? We spent a lot of time analyzing the data, digging in, and really informing how to go to market. Just an example, you heard there that only 18% of folks actually submit a lead prior to purchasing a car. There's a lot of other things that are influencing, and my favorite one from this is they actually say a morning visit is more important to purchasing a car than an evening visit. Maybe they've been at too many conferences and had too many cocktails in the evening, so it's devalued. But whatever the reason may be, I think that can speak to your strategy, your day partying, that sort of thing. You heard him mention tying the data back, so I think establishing a key process there is important. And ultimately, working with the client to figure out, okay, who is likely to buy a car, and then how do we put our marketing focus on them? So the confusion matrix here, you heard in the video that 90% of the time when we thought somebody was going to buy a car, they did buy a car, which I think is pretty strong, and again, a good place to be spending your marketing dollars. We then need to activate that. So again, using GMP here, we assign a probability to each of these potential prospects in the GA360 environment, and then go to market with SA and DV360 and all the other tools there. So again, we just picked GMP here as a low barrier of entry. I have a feeling most of you are using it. Same strategy, same tactics could apply on Adobe or other places. The other piece I did want to mention today, though, is, okay, how do we communicate that value to your business? And that's where the reporting piece of it comes in. I started as a search marketer 10 years ago or so, and there was nothing I disliked more about my job than having to put together Excel reports and try to use SQL to find out where those insights were. So how can we make all of our jobs a bit more easier? When I think about reporting, there's really 4 steps. You have to collect the data, you have to transform the data into a usable, again, currency. You have to visualize it somehow. No CEO wants an Excel spreadsheet. They want a PowerPoint slide showing, okay, the data's going up and to the right. And then finally, we need to analyze it. What happened? Why did that happen? And more importantly, what are we going to do about it going forward? Merkle has a tool called Archie that we've been putting out in the market. Sometimes for clients we do media with, some for clients we do CRM with, sometimes for clients we do neither with. But I think it's really accelerating the reporting and insights that our clients are able to get. In fact, one client mentioned, what Merkle showed me how to do in the past hour will save me 2 full days of work each month. Again, we're trying to take that heavy lifting and automate it and really let our marketers do what they want to do, and that's find insights and add strategic value. Archie has 3 core components. One is simple campaign reporting. We've taken Google data from Google, Amazon, all the other partners out there you can imagine. We then have the ability to go beyond that and add in attribution or media mix modeling. And finally, it's really collaborative. So really briefly, when it comes to rapid reporting, again, this is all powered on data standards, on templates, on optimization or customization for each client and then optimization. So it can be stood up in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks to get a nice place, and then we can add more extensions as we go there. Those extensions, again, as I mentioned, are typically attribution. This is not an attribution tool. You're not buying an off-the-shelf product. It's a methodology. Again, globally, we have about 1,000 analytics professionals. So a lot of this is very customized modeling depending on our clients' KPIs and goals. It could be TV attribution, media mix modeling, many other extensions we can add there. And finally, it's collaborative. We have access to this data. Our clients have access to it. Their other agencies and partners have access to it. It's an interface where you can look as high as a exec level dashboard, as tactical as a keyword. It's got geographical components where you can pull up maps and look at performance across various geos. I'd be happy to give a demo at some point if anybody's interested. So at the end of the day, what does it enable? Reporting, insights. It's all based on top of a data lake. Again, sometimes that's Merkle, managed. Sometimes it's in a client environment, and we're just coming in, with the software on top of it. But at the end of the day, it's about, how can we drive value? Scenario planning, forecasting, customer journey. Everything that our clients are trying to solve for. So that's what I had for you today. If you take away 3 things, Merkle can help move past the nascent phase and really tie together your marketing technology and your ad technology. We're going to be focused on audience and automation. We're very much in a first-party data company. And finally, we can help leverage technology to let your team add value rather than spending multiple days playing Excel and just moving numbers around. So that's all I had. I promised to keep it concise to get you skiing, and that's what we have.